Hey, welcome to Phoenix. Charlie, I consider myself, like a lot of people here, pretty well-read. We listen to podcasts. There's a lot of information. And while the left has been lifting up the word racist and the accusation of racist, there's one thing I haven't heard. And can you explain why? At least I have not heard any reminder and restoration or restatement of all the advances that we made during the civil rights movement. No references to letter from the Birmingham jail, Medgar Evers. That was a church history moment, and it was an American moment. And I've not heard any rhetoric to remind us of the bridge that we built. Did I not hear it?
No, I think that's smart. I will say, though, that when we say that, we're told that America's just as racist as it was back then and there was no progress made. That is the belief of the media orthodoxy and the academic orthodoxy. I'll prove it to you. Derek Bell, who is the leading critical race theorist, or at least previously, in 1991, wrote an essay where he said the black man is just as unfree as he was in 1865. He wrote that in 1991. That started this argument that any progress was actually not real progress. This is preposterous, obviously, for anyone with eyes to see or ears to hear, whether it be Major League Baseball, sporting, schools, anything, to imagine that there's no progress at all whatsoever. I think that's a smart point, though, because the civil rights movement is actually not taught the way you would think it would be taught in most public schools. Most public schools have a de-emphasis on Martin Luther King's vision of a colorblind society, and they have an overemphasis on Malcolm X's society of a Malcolm X's vision of a hyper-racialized society. So let's take out Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. for a second. There are two other black intellectuals that are really important. That's Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois, okay? So Booker T. Washington, he believed that we want to try to have a colorblind society, that the spirit and the soul of a man is the most important. Booker T. Washington was articulating what Martin Luther King Jr. said beforehand. W.E.B. Du Bois said race is the most important thing in the world, that race is what moves history. And so just so you understand that if I say that, they'll just dismiss it. But I think that's smart. I think we do need to do a better job of talking about the civil rights movement and really what came out of it. I think that's highly beneficial. Gary, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, just highlighting the positive, I think, will go a long way to speaking against all of the divisiveness. So that's one reason why, like when Winsome Sears said, "Can I come to your church?" I'm like, absolutely, but I'm wanting to pray for you up on the stage, because the more we highlight the good things that God is doing in terms of racial reconciliation, then that'll push out the darkness. But we do have to do more of it. Yeah. Sometimes I find that we're so spending so much time trying to fight against the false narrative and the lies and the divisiveness that we're not highlighting what the truth is. So sometimes we get caught up in that game. It's true. Yeah.
Thank you. Smart point.